You're listening to the Wicked Theory Podcast.
We're very happy to have you back, even for a short visit.
And here we go.
Broadcasting to you live from, where's my notes? Broadcasting to you live from the last Saturday of 2018, and still no apocalypse like we were promised. This is the Wicked Theory Podcast.
You fucked up.
I did.
What happened? We were not live?
No, we were, but I fumbled the opening line a little bit. But I rolled with it.
Like Steve Winwood.
Yeah. You didn't have to bring notice to it, Jay.
What am I here for?
That's true. He speaks the mind of the listener. They're like, oh, I noticed it. I noticed it.
I heard that mistake.
In episode 191, no, 190,
I noticed the error.
Bill flubs the opening line once again.
Thank you, Todd McFarlane.
I wish we had fans like that. But this is the Wicked Theory Podcast. This is episode 190.
Wow, we're getting there.
Getting old, this show.
Yeah.
I'm your buddy Bill. That's Jay over there.
Yeah, man.
And that's Brother Bob on guitar.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How you doing, pal? How you doing there, Strings? We can call you Strings.
Well, then I got to do something like this.
Yeah. Nice. So professional.
Cool. I'm trying.
All right.
You know,
Succeeding.
you would think that I'm getting paid.
Nope, not yet. It's all volunteer work. We do it for the fun. We do what we want, but we do it for you, dear listener. Thanks for tuning in.
I thought I was doing it for strings. That was kind of the deal when we
Was
started.
it? Yeah, it might have been. That sounds kind of familiar, actually, now that I think about it. Look, we do this live every Saturday, this kind of nonsense. At 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do it on Mixler. That's an app. That's a service. On my end, does that mean me in particular? I got to read the comments live because that's just the way people decide to do it in the chat room. So thanks for distracting me with technical stuff.
I didn't do a damn thing.
Not you. I don't know. Someone's like, Bill, you're low.
Oh, that's...
Someone or
So, I don't know. Who was it? Let me see.
Agent Ferengi.
Oh, Benny Livewire.
Oh, okay.
But then again, he's not necessarily official. He's not staff.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't even have a theme.
That's true. He probably could. He's around enough.
Wasn't he asking for one?
No. That was James.
Oh, sorry, that's James.
Palmer says, tell Benny he's not any lower than normal. So if there is a technical issue, it's pre-standing.
Look at Palmer with his bitchiness on the fucking...
We
the
know
sheriff.
we know it's not your big mouth.
That's true. Maybe I wasn't
So-
close enough to the mic. But anyway, yeah, we do this live every Saturday night on Mixler, Mixlr. That's an app. That's a thing we can do. You can listen to us live. Download the free app. Search for us. Or just go to mixler.com/wicked-theory if you're on your laptop or whatever. Come hang out. Get in the chat room. Play the chat room game. That's what we were talking about. We got some people in there already. And then we're going to hit you with some pop culture news, reviews, other nonsense. That's what we do here. And anytime is a good time to send in an email. If you do it now, podcast@wickedtheory.com. That's the official stuff. We got that out of the way. How you doing there, buddy?
I used to like it when it took like 10 minutes to do that, what you just did in 2.5
You like that?
seconds. No, I don't like it.
You don't like it anymore?
I like it when it took 15 minutes.
You don't like it's all polished and kind of like put together now?
Yeah. A little hipster. A little too hipster.
A little too hipster.
Hipster.
Yeah.
It's just about trying to get it out of the way so that we can...
No, take our time.
It's just about... Look, I can't handle, like...
The mere mention
let's
of
just let's just call a spade. Like, like we all can't stand being interrupted. So when I'm doing like the official stuff, I gotta get through that.
But
like,
that was-
that's the only time like I get bugged out anymore about like getting stepped on a little
So
bit.
what you're saying is you're telling Jay and I to shut up?
Not directly,
Bill.
not in this particular moment, but I'll save it. That'll come.
The fucking charm of the show was that when you would try to read, like, these things, 3 things would spin off.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we don't have that no more, and I'm all fucked up because of it
Well,
now.
I'll tell you, this week's opening, me reading that wasn't as good as last week's because
you fucked
there was
up.
some start. Right, there was a rough start, so like there was some kind of interruptions and shit. One of these days I'll get it. and like I'll have like a hand signal,
So
and I'll just shut you down or something.
there's gonna you actually think there's gonna be a day when everything's gonna come together perfectly, and you're not gonna make a mistake, and you're not gonna get interrupted, and everything's gonna work.
Right. I mean, it's just law of averages, I think. Like, it just has to happen once, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be, like, all the time.
No, people do get struck by lightning.
That's what I'm saying. Some people get struck multiple times,
This is
which
true.
is crazy, right?
Well, did you ever think that maybe if the show went
Off the
on,
rail-
no, if it went on without a hitch,
Right.
that we failed? You know what I'm saying?
And everybody who's been listening will be like, what is this? I don't like this anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand what happened here.
Perfect.
We start doing good, and the ratings
Yeah,
drop.
right,
Our 5
right.
fans become 3, and then it's just Palmer.
I wonder if somehow this show became a show that like caught on. If that wouldn't change enough, where all of a sudden like the small devoted crowd we have would all of a sudden be like, yeah, I don't know, I don't like you guys anymore. Like we'd hear from all these people like, you guys have changed. You guys are somebody
Well, there's a
else
lot of
now."
attitudes like that that easily get offended if we say,
Yeah. Well, look, tonight's going to be a different night for us a little bit. News is very thin.
Yeah, but I got a couple things to pull out of my sleeve.
That's good. That's
to,
good.
to make sure that, you
I'm
guys...
nervous. I'm nervous by the
I
sound of
wouldn't
that
be.
already.
I wouldn't be.
For you to pull anything out of your sleeve, it's either going to be like a box cutter or a crowbar
Or a bottle of scotch.
or more hooch.
I have all those things in my backpack.
Right, one of them's on the table already.
And one's on the table.
All right,
Don't forget
so
the blowtorch for the cigar.
well, how much time we wasted already?
I am not
7 minutes.
smoking a cigar today.
That's true.
Thank you.
That's true. I can see you guys clearly, and I didn't open it up and smoking a cigarette really.
Well,
Which is
there's
nice.
a,
Yeah, there's one like half burning
Yeah.
in the ashtray as we speak. 'Cause
Exactly.
I forgot it. But yeah, so the opening line was about, the end of the years here. And so
Which year? Which year? This year?
this year is
Or
end of-
last year?
No, Bob, just this year. This year is on its
I'm
wrap
sorry.
up.
It's just that this year was kind of feeling like a repeat of last year for me.
Oh, okay. All right, I got you. So for you, you're on a loop. I
So
got
the
you.
phrase,
Kinda.
where's my notes, defines the 2018.
That should be like a mantra for me,
Yeah.
I think, just in general.
Broadcasting to you live from Where's My Notes?
Yeah, I'll be certain. I'll be certain we're on a loop if on January 1st Ed's sitting in that chair.
Well, then it'll just be a restart, right? For
Then
sure.
Yeah, then I'll know for certain.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I was thinking that I was going to ask you guys, because my opening line there was about the fact that Bob's Pink Floyd moment threw me off for a second. I was like, where is that coming from? We still didn't get the apocalypse. When I was a kid, I grew up believing and thinking that by the year 2000, we'd be done.
Oh, the planes were going to drop out of the sky.
Something was going to happen. There was
with-
too
with
many,
Y2K.
Right. There was too many. Well, Y2K is actually the first thing that kind of like says, like, don't put your faith in any of those baskets. Like, all that shit's, all those prophecies, all those predictions, like.
Yeah, but there was ones in the 80s and the 90s too. There's always something like that. It's just,
Right.
I think
So-
since the internet now, that stuff doesn't fly anymore.
So my point being, though, that we were promised a lot of things,
Right.
and we've barely got them, right? I mean,
Yeah. No ink in disaster.
right, no ink and disaster, like that. That's on that tip.
Or was it Aztec? I think there've been both.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna stay on that, then yeah, there's a lot. That's you know what I
Right.
mean. Like there's a lot of predictions, and that's why like 2000 always seemed like, oh, that's when it's gonna go down, because they all kind
Right.
of timed out together,
Yeah, more or less.
But we were promised a lot of stuff by like 2000. By year 2000,
Right.
it was
Jesus
like
supposed to come back.
right jetpacks,
Yeah, jetpacks.
flying cars.
Yeah, really, the Jetsons, man, it was like 2000.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I feel a little let down by that. So for
Yeah,
anybody in the
I'm
chat
still
room,
driving. My car feels like I'm driving a Flintstone mobile most of the time.
well,
I don't feel left out by anything.
why? You feel like you got everything you were promised for the year 2000?
I just didn't expect those things.
I mean, don't get me wrong. As we approached it, I realized they weren't happening. But I'm just saying, from the kids, kind of like a young, growing up perspective, it was like, it did seem like, oh, we were on the trajectory, like we were going to get maybe a few of those things.
I thought that we were, well, this is going back a few years now.
Right.
But, back in the 90s,
Yeah.
I thought that by 2020 we'd have like a flying car. That I did think.
Like in a regular kind of service.
Technically, they've made them.
I'm sure, yeah.
You just can't buy them yet.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're ridiculously expensive. So
Well, I meant in circulation.
Yeah,
like,
like in popular
yeah,
usage.
Like
And I feel like the jetpack thing is kind of happening, though. Like, if you look up on YouTube, there's a lot of companies trying to get that jetpack thing kind of
Well,
really
that's-
locked down.
they've
And
had-
they're coming pretty close where it's like, someone's going to be like, okay, we can get them to you for like, $120.
right. Well, they've had some kind of jetpack technology since the 60s because of the astronauts, but it's very, very limited. It's like compressed air or something.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I remember being a kid and seeing a dude in a jetpack.
Sure.
Flying over the stadiums and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you would just,
You don't see that anymore.
the big silver thing that looked like it was
Right.
like they had to keep it like 6 inches off his back. It was
Right.
so big.
They tried to make him look like an astronaut without making him look like an astronaut. They put him in a silver suit with the helmet.
Yes.
And it looked like thing was made out of tinfoil.
Right.
It was very
Like they were hiding everything, or whatever. But he would fly through the stadium at like halftime or whatever.
like Duff Man.
Right.
Or you could take 2 air tanks and jump off a garage and see what happens.
I think so. Well, have you
Well,
ever seen?
that sounds like something that's already on YouTube.
Well, have you ever seen the kids with like the the leaf blower on an office chair? That is some of the best shit.
Right.
They just point it to the ground and it goes.
Dude, I watched this show Roadkill.
Okay.
They actually took the leaf blowers,
Right.
hooked them up to a car.
Yeah.
Do a series of tubes. I mean, they took like everything out of the car.
Right,
Ran
right.
tubes, ran them from the back end of the car through tubing in through the dashboard into the engine,
Okay.
right, to try and get more horsepower. And they got like 3 horsepower of all that work.
Jesus Christ. So, people in the chat room, if you want to fucking,
Check some of those things out. They're on YouTube.
yeah, check some of those things out. But you guys want to kind of drop in your, things you let down that you didn't get to see by the year 2000. And now that it's 2020, basically.
Yeah.
And we still haven't gotten some of these things into regular rotation. But anyway, let's give them a chat room game. Still on a New Year's theme. Resolutions, New Year's resolutions for villains. I had no examples. So I don't know if that's going to be a tough one. I think maybe it's the end of year challenge for our regular listeners.
What? No more bad jokes for the Joker.
There you go. Well, I mean, that's a start.
Yeah.
Oh boy, stuff like that. I don't know.
Things
It
I
could
didn't
be a
get to
dud.
see.
It could be a dud. I don't know.
Things I didn't get to see in 2018.
Well, stuff that you were kind of
Sobriety.
sobriety. There you go. That's a. Was that a resolution from last year? That
I
didn't
don't do
carry through?
resolutions anymore.
No, I gave up.
I
on
haven't
that.
done that since 1988.
That was a fleeting thought, like the first time, like I ever thought it for a second, and I was like, "Oh, I'm never going to stick to that," and I've never done it again. Like when I was young,
For a second there, it sounded like you said the fleeting thought of your first thought, basically.
I might have said that.
It was
I don't
the
know.
way it was like twined together.
I might have. I don't know. People, am I crazy?
Why is 1987 coming up in the chat room?
I'm not sure.
I think that
I'm
was-
not sure.
I
If
think
it's
that was
James, he's probably talking about the good old times.
That was like right around the time of Master of Puppets, wasn't it?
No, Master of Puppets was 85.
Here we go.
87 might have been Garage Days Revisited.
Yeah. Okay, that's when they had that period where they were
The
just
EP.
milking the tour and
And then they got
putting
Jason.
putting out the yeah. And then they got Jason because Cliff died.
And 89 was Injustice for All,
Rest in peace.
which is a great album, too. Yeah, 87, Chief.
You're listening to Metallicast, the Metallica fan podcast. Yeah.
I'm ready for a refill.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me a podcast. I desire. I couldn't think of a rhyme. All right.
See if I could do that one. No, I don't know that riff.
I'm not gonna
No, we're
practice
not
right now.
No, I'm not gonna try that riff now.
Well, you can give us a newsy riff. We can do that. We can jump into the news. We can move this show along.
All right.
I mean, we've warmed up.
Something like that? No, maybe not, right?
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want to do, really. Change the whole key. Fuck it.
Oh, you horse's dickhole.
Follow through wherever it leads you. I'd love to hear a different version. Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Good times.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Good times.
I think I'm having a stroke.
All right, but if you fall over, I have
Mild
to
one.
keep the show going. So,
The show would go
me
on.
and Jay,
Yes,
yeah,
you're right.
we have to. We can't stop
Yeah,
it.
you would just make the 911 call part of the show. I
Yeah,
hope.
absolutely. I mean,
I'd be okay with that.
if
Got a man down.
the operator would be like, okay, now you have to go over to him. I'm like, well, I got to stay on the mic.
He played Iron Man for the.
If Uncle Jay, if they say Uncle Jay's got to give me mouth to mouth, let me die.
Okay, fair enough.
Why not? I mean,
It's the whiskers, Jay.
Because I don't want to wake up to that.
I'm still sporting the beard. If
I don't
anybody
want to
cares.
remember that.
Chin whiskers.
That's when you know you kissed a dude for sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
baby.
All right. I guess, right? All right. Not speaking from experience. It was once.
Bullshit.
All right. So we were drunk. It was cocaine. It was a Tuesday.
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
Okay, what happened now?
Well, Jay, I think you'll be very excited to know
Yeah.
that much like the White Walker HBO branded whiskey you're drinking tonight.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say, man.
that the branding has continued in a way, totally different thing. But you're gonna love this.
Yeah, I know what it is already.
It's Predator themed whiskey. It's Dutch.
Pre-ordered, bitch.
You ordered it already? Dutch bourbon whiskey. Get to the chopper.
Yeah, that's it.
Silver Screen Bottling Company, DutchWhiskey.com. Yeah, it's got the helicopter on it.
Oh yeah.
On the label, part of the logo is like the triangle that the Predator would zoom in on you with. It's like the digital kind of, the breakup. You need to see the image. You want
Like
to
the
see the image?
crosshairs, you mean?
I've seen
Oh,
it.
you've
yeah,
seen
yeah.
it, all right, yeah,
Now,
sure.
can I say something?
No,
This
no.
is the kind of miracle that happens like once in a lifetime.
This is how you know the world's coming to an
Where
end.
the moons align so perfectly
Right.
that there is a Predator-themed whiskey
I
coming
mean,
out.
come on. I wanted to make that noise. Like, whenever, like, the camera... No, not that. Well, that probably be easier. I wanted to do that. Whoosh! Like, whenever it would cut to the thermal imaging.
Yeah.
And it would be like that whiplash kind of sound.
That knows you're in deep shit when you hear that.
Like, when you hear that, you're like, oh, we're in the Predator POV. Oh, shit. But maybe if you drink enough of this, you can see in thermal imaging, like, that bluey, red, rainbow shit.
Predator's some good shit, man.
Well, wait until you get your bottle.
So the Silver Screen Bottling Company describes their whiskey using pretty much every single one-liner from the film. There are days when you're pushing too many pencils, feeling slack-jawed, and there's nothing you can do to get your mind to stick around. Days when you're dropped in the meat grinder, and life looks at you as if you ain't no man. You're just a bleeding thing, alien to everyone around you, and as if the whole world is saying, if it bleeds, we can kill it. But you ain't got time to bleed.
I would like one that said they did the same thing to Jim Hopper. The guy, he was skinned alive.
It's payback time.
Yeah.
You remember?
They're doing all the
They folded
legendary
all,
ones.
so
Yeah.
they folded it all in, Filling a glass, the aroma digs in like an Alabama tick.
Well, that's good.
Knock, knock, this is quality. You take a sip and the smooth taste takes you away on a chopper of blended flavors. That's reaching right there.
about-
like a rescue team, not assassins.
How about anytime?
Another sip and your mind wanders to exotic Valverde, where the jungle comes alive and takes you on a journey filled with cold mud baths, waterfall diving, and trophy hunting. It makes Cambodia look like Kansas. That's a Randy.
Yeah,
that's
Jesse the Body.
that's a Jesse line. It makes Cambodia look like Kansas. But you want more because your appetite for adventure is as big as a horse. This is Dutch bourbon whiskey. When you're in a world of hurt, a sip of Old Painless will have you saying, I'm going to have me some fun.
Yep. Go have me some fun.
Have me some fun. All right. Well, Jay, how many bottles did you order?
7.
7. That's all right. Is that the limit, or is that how a case comes?
You know a bottle's coming here.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Well, now that I know that you ordered it,
Just one?
I mean, there'll just be one in the truck at all times, right?
Well, yeah, I always have a spare bottle
With a sippy top.
or an emergency bottle. That's right next to the jack in the Jeep.
He's got the
Curly straw.
I think
Crazy
he's got the,
straw.
I think he's got like the hamster bottle set up where it's upside down and it's got the little thing you lick. It's got the bead ball.
The
in
habit
tube.
trail.
Because you're driving, you got to keep them at 10 and 2. So, if you could just lean back and just, kind of look at the nozzle.
If he had that, he'd be dead because every time they hit the bump, the
It would
bottle,
just shove him to the
Yeah.
the bottle would the ball would go up and down.
Yeah.
So a shot would come out the bottom of the bottle, and he'd be freaking the fuck out.
Oh, sure. He'd be covered in it.
He'd be trying to drink it every time he hit a pothole.
Good times. Good times. Well, so I'm kind of surprised, but not surprised, Jay, that you actually already ordered some of that. All right. And so I just want to touch it real quick. That
Pay me first. Anywho,
I thought we were better friends than that.
Yeah, I know,
I wouldn't have
I
to
know.
pay for that.
$25.
Damn. Just to touch it? Just to touch it.
Just to
folks.
unzip the fly, son.
Maybe that's a special price for me. Because I want to. So
That's right.
You think that'll make me keep my distance. So
All right, let's get serious.
I mean, for real.
Enough bullshit.
Enough of that.
What's going on now?
Netflix, Jay, has released a choose your own adventure movie.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, it's a Black Mirror. It's a new release. And
I saw something launched. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's what they're doing for the season. It's a movie. It's whatever. The thing is that it's, I actually lost my Netflix access, so I have to kind of like either get someone's password or I have to fucking pony it up. But because this isn't gonna work on a bootleg. Because you gotta make choices, you know what I mean? So how this is set up is that the story it's a typical kind of Black Mirror story where it's crazy shit happening to a guy who's a game programmer, and they're making a choose your own adventure game, and so they put a lot of money into this and stuff like that. It looks pretty rudimentary, like you'll have a A or B kind of choices, but people are digging it, and I saw one guy. I'm trying to avoid knowing too much about it before I go into it. But one guy was like, "Well, thanks for jamming me up for another 5 hours Netflix." Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not just it's like going to last a little bit. Like there's some depth to it. There's multiple different endings, and you can really kind of get lost into the middle of it. And I saw people were making flow charts of like what decisions go where and all this kinds of shit. Right. So you can, once you've watched it a couple of times, you'll be able to go online and find people's they'll be putting up their courses and their breakdowns. This is a thing that'll get broken down like crazy.
Right.
But and people say it's good, like they're having fun with it. Like the story's pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's a very smartly planned thing because this sounds like it's just ripe for the whole binge thing, and the whole interactivity just brings it to another level.
Yeah,
it's
like
good.
It's the gamification of a TV show.
I a couple weeks ago we were talking about Clue, the movie.
Sure.
And we discussed that back then. They had different endings for it.
Yeah.
It's funny because over the years I always thought about the idea
like how can you do that?
That
right.
it was kind of almost ahead of its time.
Oh, sure.
If you think about it, to have 3 different endings to a film and actually show it.
Yeah, absolutely.
To a wide audience.
Yeah.
And that never ever really took off until now.
Yeah.
Well, because there was no real kind of way to kind of like maximize it.
Well, there's a few things you could have.
Well, I mean, like I think back then it would be like, well, then fast forward to X time code on your VHS tape to, you know what I mean? You'd be jumping around in a VHS tape. Oh, and I think there might have been a couple of things that tried to play with it, like for kids' toys and stuff.
Didn't they do a DVD release where you could do that though with this?
Well, Clue, you went to the movies. You saw one ending.
You saw one ending. If you wanted to see multiple endings, you had to go to multiple.
But you never saw when
Right,
the DVD when the VHS came out.
Right.
They showed you all three endings.
Right,
This could have
right.
happened, that could have happened,
Right,
or
right,
that.
right.
So that's how they got away with that on the DVD. You
Right.
got there's a lot of information you can put on the DVD.
Yeah, and you had a menu option.
Now
It was
with
different,
this
yeah.
kind of thing, it's almost like you're going to be watching the same episode. You know what I mean? 5
Right.
different times.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I'm guessing, like, after you watch it once, or if you come up with a very, like, short ending kind of thing, maybe? Like, maybe you jump, like, you make some certain decisions that, like, it's over, like, in an hour, and it feels like a movie. But you know that you could have gotten lost in it and seen a lot more stuff, that I would think that you could probably start over and fast forward to the first choice point and make the other choice.
Right,
And start
but-
down the rabbit hole.
But how long into the
Right.
show is it in? See, the thing with Clue was it was the same movie,
Yeah.
an hour and 20 minutes in until the last 10 minutes.
So
that's
I
changed.
think with this is that there's I don't know how early it comes in, but I saw something that was a screen cap, and it was like, oh, I can't believe this is a real decision here, and it was like them having fun with it when they said it. It wasn't like a dig, but it was like, I think it might have been the cereal choices, because it was like text, and it was like sugar bombs or chocolate crisps.
Well, I feel that if it's an hour episode,
Yeah.
is that what it is? Is it
Well,
an hour?
the idea is that they're branding it like as a movie. It's
All
a
right.
special, but truth told, there's several different endings, and supposedly like 1 million permutations of the choices. So you might have, like, much like in a real choose your own adventure book, like a choice, like choices often to make.
Well, I would think that maybe the way to go.
Yeah.
I don't know if has it done it. Have they launched it already? Or
Yeah, it's been up for 3 days, and it hasn't stopped trending on Twitter.
But nobody, you haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it.
So
I have
maybe it's something along the lines where the first 20 minutes is the same. That at a
yeah,
certain
yeah.
point
Yeah. The first choice point.
you watch this,
Yeah,
then you do it again,
yeah,
and you watch this,
right.
and then that.
Well,
And
you
then
have
you
to make.
watch the-
Well,
yeah.
the text comes up. You make an A or B decision for every.
That's cool.
For every, much like at the bottom of the page in a choose your own adventure book, it's like turn to page 19 to see if Jack jumps off. If you want Jack to jump off the cliff, turn to page 323 if you want him to go into the cabin, and it's basically going to be like cliff or cabin, like, you know what I mean. And then, so you can. I'm thinking when you watch it the second time to get different result, you'll just go to that first choice point,
Or yeah,
and then just go down the other side.
like a
okay?
DVD interactive.
Yes.
But are these different situations to the answers very very divergent? I mean, they can't be overly divergent.
Like, you can easily go online to find out how many endings there are. There's an actual number that they've said how many endings there are. You know what I mean? I don't know if that gives it away. I kind of feel like it does. Maybe it doesn't. But there's like 5 different endings, and supposedly 1 trillion permutations. And I was like, 1 trillion? So I was
So
like,
you
is
might
that
have a
real
hard
number?
time getting through all 5 because you might have to hit a certain number of exact situations in order to get to that 5th one. It might
Yeah.
be, you know what I mean? They
I
might.
think there'll be key. I would presume that there's like key pivot points.
Yeah, it
like there's a
sounds
lot
like
of
it.
smaller kind of decision making, basic stuff, but like each one of those paths that gets you to one of those 5 different endings. Like I would think.
Right. Yeah,
you
it
know?
sounds like there's when they're talking about this. It sounds like there's lots of little decisions to
Could
be
be.
made, like choosing cereal, breakfast
Mm-hmm.
cereal, that don't really have any effect on where a certain pathway that you're currently on is going.
Right.
You know, and then you're going to get to a branch
Right.
that where the decision actually matters.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think,
So-
or at the very least, that breakfast cereal might be the first decision, and it's just like an introduction to like, okay, this is what we're doing here. Because that's what I was thinking, right? Like, imagine like you're a fan of Black Mirror, but you don't even know that they're doing this, right? Because you don't follow media or pop culture news or something. Like, so you just put it on because Netflix jams it in your face. It's the new hot shit this week. So you start watching it, and you're like, oh, what is this? Like those people are having I think that would be like a wild experience, kind of
Right.
going blank, like,
Well, the
because actually
fun-
I was gonna do that with you, Bob. I was like, oh, it's great. I won't even tell Bob what it is, maybe, and we'll just start watching it. Like, Bob, I don't know if you watched Black Mirror yet, but let's check this out. This is supposed to be really good. I want you to check it out with me.
Right.
But I think that would be the fun of it, no?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely sounds like when you get the Netflix
Yeah.
subscription going again, that we
We
got
should
to
do it. We
got to
should do
sit
it.
down and together because it's the only way I'm going to be able to see it actually interact.
Right. You know what I mean?
Because I have the Fire Stick, but my remote died, so
Well, no. If you think about it, like the way those things are captured, you'd only capture like a person who was going to like post it up on a torrent or something like that.
Right.
Like you would end up having
One
their
storyline. Yeah,
one
right.
storyline, their version of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that's not a problem because on a torrent site, they're going to have the 35 people
right, doing all different versions.
posting it, so
Yeah.
they'll just do different versions. Because these are the same guys who they just torrent everything. They somehow tap
Yeah.
into the friggin' data streams when they're going right from like Warner or whoever.
Yeah.
And they're ripping off everybody. It's
kind of
ridiculous.
crazy. But yeah, so people, that is the thing to spend your mindless hours with this weekend. Besides us, Bandersnatch
I also
on
think
Netflix.
I also think we kind of gave Netflix a nice pitch option for Clue, because this
Yeah.
looks like the thing to
Well,
do with it.
Well, when I was talking to my friend Jimmy at work, he was like, "Oh, well, my son was showing me a few months back. I forget what show it was. It was a kids show, sci-fi thing. I kind of want to say Star Wars, but I don't think it was Star Wars. It was something else. Oh, like a Minecraft thing that Netflix did, where you had options like that. So this is like
Right.
that's why sometimes in the write-ups for this, you'll see, oh, it's their first there's a caveat thing in the thing when they say, oh, their first attempt at it. Like it's like, oh, their first adults or whatever. So like they kind of felt it out already, Netflix. And so when they came to him with this, it was probably like, oh, sure, we can do branching. It's just having them jump to another episode, basically. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to me, like to think of it like, oh, instead of getting a season for this year, you just get this thing, which accumulatively can add up to about a season's worth of material because it's a short season show.
Right.
It's a 6-episode show usually.
Yeah.
So if you get 5 hours of content kind of by playing around with it.
Right, it's perfect because Black Mirror doesn't do a standard 10 or 13 or even 8.
Right.
They'll do 3 as and call it a season
Yeah.
and then come out Christmas time with a couple more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they do their own English thing.
Yeah, they just whatever they come up with as an arc or whatever. That's what they're gonna do.
They're all high on tea and crumpets over there.
In Minecraft is a
Crackers.
753-hour game.
Yeah, so if you stop playing,
Yeah,
You get
if
lost
people,
in there, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
if people don't come by and knock everything out, knock your whole house down and make you start all over.
Minecraft. Who doesn't love
game
Minecraft?
with no point whatsoever.
Yeah. So
There's some crazy people that get into that.
well, I'm gonna wrap that up, I guess. So people focus on that for the weekend, lose yourself, and watch what
Yeah,
might be
sounds
a thing you'll see again with other projects and properties on
Yeah.
Netflix and other services where it's like, oh, we can
Well,
do something different with storytelling.
Right. This is definitely the time I think in our technical level of technology that we're ready.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
You
mean?
just
This
need
kind of thing has
people
come
who
out
are-
in the past. It hasn't been quite ready. The
Right.
idea's been there.
Yeah.
The technology wasn't quite up to it.
Yeah.
And the people weren't into it.
And I thought you were gonna say, and the people behind it weren't maybe always the highest of caliber, kind of like production companies, or
Well, there's
you know what I
that
mean?
too.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
that too, because it's always those fly-by-night startups that get the few bucks,
Right.
that cheap $50,000 grant to try and do something new.
Yeah.
You
I mean, this isn't the company that Tom Hanks worked for in Big, where it's like it's a choose your own adventure comic book.
Right.
There's a reference. All right, so
Yeah, man.
Jay, you have some stuff.
Yeah,
there.
some light stuff.
Light.
It's the holidays.
It's holidays. Pickings is slim, as
It's
they
that
say.
last week at the end of the year.
Everyone's on vacation. There's no deals being made.
Nobody wants to be bothered.
They're not answering phones. These bastards in Hollywood.
Everybody eats pizza that week
Is
because
that-
everybody's sick and tired of the fucking Christmas grubs.
Is that what happens?
Or the fucking Hershey Kisses nuggets.
Word.
Anyway, so Adam McKay,
Yeah.
right before the holidays, he did some quick press.
In relation to BJ McKay?
Yes, it's his brother and his
He-
mother.
He's got the blue truck,
Long
same
story.
paint job, but with blue, right?
Adam McKay is the guy that did Anchorman and The Big Short. He's got Vice coming out.
Okay.
So he did some press release for that before the holidays, and someone spoke to him about possibility on working on Marvel film. He's no stranger to it because he helped do some work on Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
As long as he wasn't involved with that Captain America movie with the ears on the helmet.
Fair enough.
Well, I don't think he was born.
Yeah, he
that
was
time.
or not in the business yet.
That's
Only the
right,
three
that's
of us were around that.
That's true.
And thought
As
it was,
much as we want to forget it.
Well, I watch it every now and again just to.
Torture yourself.
No, just to, add
Remember-
some spice into my life.
Remind yourself how far we've come.
Yeah.
Basically, put it all in context.
Look, I can argue the first couple minutes.
All right, fair enough.
Not the rubber ears, though.
That's true.
All right, let me get back to this.
No.
Well, anyway, apparently he's been approached for Guardians 3.
Right,
He has not confirmed or denied his involvement.
right, right.
But he did say that Silver Surfer is the one he really wants to do.
Sure.
So I say, write it into Guardians 3.
It would fit. It would fit. I
the way
bet
to do
you. They might be able to take advantage of
Yeah, but we might get that. We might get him in Avengers 4. We might get him in Endgame.
People do hope against hope that there's going to be some kind of like Fox drop in there, and I guess they could because CG is easy enough to do. You could find a
Yeah.
way to drop somebody in somewhere, but
Well,
I think they're really on record as saying though, because I actually remember reading this recent that within the next 6 months,
right.
they'll
Yeah.
be able to start doing that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
Feige said this week in a podcast with Variety that when he was asked about like, what's up with the Fox stuff, and he was like, well, I'm surprised by it, but it's, paraphrasing it, he was kind of surprised that as soon as maybe 6 months we can really kind of start looking at that stuff and working with that stuff. So I think we'll be hard pressed to kind of see something in Avengers Endgame, but to me, like Guardians of the Galaxy's like 3
Yeah.
is the perfect place because there was a stall on
Right.
production of it. So now it's like, we've got time.
Yeah.
And things will line up.
well, I also think that there's enough going on in Avengers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which also, of course we're going to get some kind of surprise.
Yeah. Oh,
You know what I mean?
Surprises go
So
on.
I would think that with this character, because I always thought the Silver Surfer was a cool character, and he's like almost a saving grace in that Rise of the Silver Surfer movie, the way they did him.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, he was
And,
probably the best thing in it.
And
Yeah.
Larry Fishburne's voice and everything too. It's just that I feel like this would be the perfect entryway to let Avengers do its thing. Then we bring in
Yeah,
Guardians one
sure.
more time, and then you
Right.
bring this in, and maybe
Yeah.
that'll open it up for Fantastic Four, and
Yeah.
so I think that, and he'd be good. Because I feel like Adam McKay has a good.
What's some of the stuff
he's
done again?
got a good grapple on humor. Well, he's known for doing like
stuff?
like Anchorman
Oh,
and
right. He's Will Ferrell's guy,
Will
right?
Ferrell's guy, yeah. And but he's also known for doing The Big Short and Vice,
Yeah.
which is getting, these are like movies that get rave reviews and Oscar nominations.
Yeah. Vice is looking amazing.
So he's definitely the wheelhouse of guy they should keep in mind for
Right.
Guardians if you're not going to stick with James Gunn
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that stupid fucking reason.
Yeah.
So there's that.
So there's that.
Yeah, there's that.
Right.
Anybody else?
And one little piece of Star Wars news here. And the only reason why I'm mentioning it is because it seems that Favreau is really bringing heavy hitters into this thing. This is not this is not just guys that are doing TV scores. It's
Right,
not
right,
ju-
right.
These are like the guy that scored Black Panther and Venom.
Yeah.
Ludwig Göransson, his name is. He might even get a nomination this year. He's bringing him in to compose the Mandalorian theme for Star Wars.
Okay, so now we're really kind of running out of Mandalorian.
So it's going to be total 80s synth, right?
I don't think so, man. I honestly think that this is something like, it's not going to be something you're going to sweep under the fucking
It's not gonna be the
table
typical-
for your TV thing. Is what
Sure,
I'm trying to
okay,
say.
I got you.
Like, I think you're bringing in good actors. You're bringing in good directors.
Yeah. I mean, they're not fucking around
Yeah,
with the
but
talent.
they want to bring legitimacy to it, and they want to do it through these super popular franchises like Star Wars. So they're gonna have to really have to put some names in it, some quality
Right.
acting, because otherwise some people might have a tendency to take it a little more lightly because it's Star Wars.
It's
You
true.
know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to give it, if you want everybody to fucking really buy in nowadays, you got to
Right.
make
You
sure
gotta,
there's-
you gotta show them you're serious by putting up at least 1 or 2 serious actors.
Like we're living in a time now where TV and film are synonymous now.
Yeah.
It was never that way,
No, it's all blurry.
as
now.
you know.
Yeah, it's all blurry. now.
So I feel like it's getting a cinematic treatment is what I feel.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
coming to this.
Sure.
It's the way to go with it. I mean, it's the benefit of having your own platform now. That's where this is going to be.
Yeah.
And it's the stepping up of the game. Like we're saying, I'm glad now that there was never a Star Wars live action TV show on regular network
Like
television.
20 years ago.
The thing that
Yeah.
we kind of a
Well,
lot
that-
of people
that would've been-
wanted. I'm glad it never happened.
Right, because that probably would have been a scar like Captain America.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm kind of coming
Right.
from with that. Yeah, it would have been
it would have been half-assed done.
Yeah, and we probably would have hated it in the
Right.
end, or who knows? Maybe it could have been good, but I kind of feel like no.
The only thing I have to say to that is the fact that it is Star Wars. At the time, that was still kind of golden.
Oh yeah,
So I feel like you would have, if it came to a green light,
yeah.
it would have been a movie. It would have never been a TV thing.
Yeah.
It would
I
have
can see
been.
that.
It would have been some kind of movie, and money would have been thrown at it.
Oh yeah.
That's only if Lucas
Really took it seriously.
took his hands off.
Yeah,
and he would never do
It
it.
wasn't just considered how they would do some specials or whatever, and it was kind of it's those things always felt like the bastard children of the franchisee thing, like the TV movies with the Ewoks or even the Chewbacca special.
But that's the only thing you got.
Yeah,
that's
well,
the
That's
only,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the benchmark to go by when I sit there and they say, I'm glad we didn't get anything else. Because if that's
Right,
putting the toe
yeah.
in the water,
Right.
then it's maybe not sully it. Let's wait. I'm glad now, when it's finally coming, it's going to be really great, high quality shit. I'm
Right.
saying.
I think you would have had a decent film there.
TV
Yeah.
movie kind of thing, you mean?
No, I'm talking about if somebody said,
Because I'm talking about television.
no, I'm glad. Yeah, that I am
Well,
glad.
that's been my
Yeah.
whole point though. Is
Yeah.
that I'm talking about TV. I'm glad nothing else happened on TV for a live action Star Wars because it
Oh,
probably
yeah,
because it really wouldn't have probably been too great.
No, it was the Ewoks films.
It was that.
Deathstroke.
Hey, at least he died.
It was the Ewoks films. That's all we got.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's the benchmark to judge by.
I don't know, I remember
What
a
they might have
variety
done.
show.
Chewbacca's
I
Saturday
don't know,
night.
the Star Wars variety show.
That's in '78. That was
They were on the Muppets.
yeah, it was a wacky time with TV where they would kind of do anything. So it was,
But your point. Yeah, I get you. I understand. But this is a step in the right direction.
But it's just more proof. It's just more proof that down to the fine details with how much they want.
Well, we live, these days we live in a point-and-click existence, and everyone has a 50-inch 4K TV these days.
Yeah,
Well,
With surround
yeah.
sound, so
yeah.
it's
half-assed isn't going to cut it anymore.
right. Yeah.
And he's a composer on the rise. He just did Creed, and it's not like you just did 2 huge blockbusters.
Right,
And now you're
maybe
going
you don't. Right, maybe
yeah.
you're not really.
No,
earned
this
it yet.
is
This guy's.
seems something big.
So there was no truth to the rumor that they were going to see about getting David Mustaine.
No,
Nah.
not at all. But Ingve Malmsteen was in consideration.
Seriously?
All right.
You don't remember.
This would have been like sweeps. And, no,
Maybe
it's
just
okay.
the action scenes. He would have brought him in. Like they tried to bring Tom Morello in for fucking.
No, because
Iron Man.
he would have insisted of being in the show with his yellow Strat
Wait, who is this we're talking about?
and standing on a Lamborghini.
Talking about Dave still?
We talking about Ingve Malmsteen?
Big
Oh
Malmsteen.
no. Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know that was a real person when you said it. I thought that was like Ish Kabibble. I thought it was one of those things.
No, he's a real egomaniac.
Well, it hasn't worked out.
Phenomenal
Because
player.
that's a guy where I know the name, but I don't know who he is. I've heard that name. I always thought it was a made up name.
Just think of Beethoven on the old record player on 78. Yeah, just think of Beethoven on 78. That's basically him. He's like
Piano.
No key, guitar.
Oh, guitar. Okay.
Like I know he sounds like a fucking writer for Reader's Digest or some shit.
Well, I just figured that's some
Ingve Malmsteen.
Well, that's what it's. I thought it was a piano player this whole time. To be honest with you, just by name and some loose
I thought-
association with music in my head for all these years. I always thought, oh, that's like a piano guy. It's some guy.
He's Austrian, so I started thinking about Arnold Schwarzenegger's spotter.
Is Reader's Digest still in print?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a reader. But we do often digest, so let's do that.
What are we digesting next?
We're gonna digest on over to the chat room game.
Ooh. Do we have
That's
enough?
sad music,
Do we have
but-
enough for a game?
Like there was nothing ever interesting in there.
In the chat room game?
No, in the
Reader's
Reader's
Digest?
Digest.
No, my favorite thing in the Reader's Digest was like jokes. Like
Yeah, that I
every few
remember. Yeah,
pages
yeah,
there was
yeah.
jokes at the bottom of a page to help fill out the page, and there'd be short stuff, but it was old people stuff.
I never looked
know?
at that more than for like 30 seconds. Like,
Well,
they-
yeah,
once in
I'm
a
not
while-
surprised to hear that though, knowing you. Like, you know,
Once in a while, they'd have him at school.
yeah.
and
The only
it was
place I
like-
knew him from was like grandma's house.
Yeah.
You know.
But it was popular. I remember back in the day.
Oh
like,
yeah, I mean, you know.
I was in every doctor office.
It was like the Cliff Notes to life.
Right. Now I want to go look and buy one.
That's what I always thought it was, but it was all short stories. It was
Yeah.
all life, slice of life or fiction stuff. I think.
That's
Yeah,
my
well, it
next.
started in a time before TV, so that was
Magazines were
like
huge.
entertainment.
Yeah.
That was how you got your entertainment.
Yeah.
That's my next week's meanwhile.
This is Reader's Digest.
This month's Reader's Digest.
I found it, folks. It's only available in digital. For digital downloads.
No, I bet you that shit still exists.
It probably does. All right, here's a chat game, folks, that I didn't think might go too big, but it kind of did.
Okay.
Let's see what we got here. Resolutions for villains. Because the New Year's right upon us. So let's see what the chat room gave us. Get those meddling kids. Take over the world. Yeah, that's a good one. Stop getting sent to Arkham by Batman. They really have shitty food. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Build more scarecrows for post-snapping guarding.
What?
I'm not sure.
Is that a Harry Potter thing?
Maybe. Build more scarecrows for the post-snapping garden. It might be a reference I'm just not catching.
Yeah.
All right, because that's from Steph. So
Steph?
she's I'm not going
Oh,
to give her a hard time.
she's highbrow, we're lowbrow. That's
Yeah,
what
that's-
that is.
Baby doll.
Hey. I'm
Hey,
mid.
Steph,
I'm
how
mid.
you doing?
I'd like to think of myself as mid-brow.
I'm just curious, Steph, which state are you in right now?
Confusion. All right.
Well, that's she's in a relationship with Palmer, so.
There's some of that going around, maybe. All right.
You know.
So,
Isn't that a Genesis song?
stop monologuing. These are villain resolutions. Stop the monologuing.
Yeah, that's a good one because they're always going to the monologue. Next thing you know, the hero gets escapes and saves the day.
Exactly. Stop saying if it's the last thing I ever do.
That's a classic.
Stop color coordinating with my pets. Right. Stop.
I know some people who need to do that.
Yeah. Stop planning crimes based on the number 2. I think that's a Two-Face reference.
Yeah. Okay.
Hire better henchmen. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Buy more sharks. Specific kind of villain.
Yeah, specific kind of villain.
Rich kind. Very rich.
Yeah.
Better Death Star defenses. That's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. That one laser that just like bends. It kind of like takes out everything,
Don't scrimp on Don't scrimp on exhaust port security.
Oh,
That's a Death Star
there you
one.
go.
Let's see here. Have sharks with frigging lasers on their backs.
That's a reference to something I've heard that. before.
Freaking lasers. It's Austin Powers. Teach Vader how to use Ancestry.com. Could
There
save
you
some
go.
trouble there.
Really?
Buy an island with a volcano. Resolutions for villains. Don't design a custom dinosaur. That didn't go well.
Oh yeah, that didn't go well.
Use a VPN when buying on the dark web. That's always a good suggestion.
Yeah.
Don't rob buildings occupied by John McClane.
Yeah.
Another one's get a better alibi. Let's bring a recent extinct animal like a dodo before trying a dino. That's a good call. Let's see what we got. We're down near the end here. Resolutions for villains. Relocate to a city that is not patrolled by a cape. That's a good call.
Yeah, that's a good
By
call.
Cape
That's a good
Crusader.
call.
Set shorter timers.
Yeah, that's usually
That's a good one.
one. It's
That's
usually
a
like
good
the 30-minute timer on the
Yeah,
bomb
yeah,
when
yeah.
you need like 5 minutes to get out the building.
McClane, I'm going to give you 46 minutes and
Give or
30,
take.
30 seconds if you need it. Let's see, we got give up blood and join PETA.
I guess a vampire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. There you go. And then the last one here is resolutions for villains. A plot against France instead of England and MI6.
Yeah, really,
That's
that's actually a good one. Really
You know
good
what?
one.
Why
because-
does France always get a pass? Like no one's
really,
ever saying
they're not gonna. They don't. They like give out rubber chickens to.
I
the
mean, they
police
got more
force,
than
I
just a
think.
lose. Well, I would think they have to have money somewhere.
Well, you got countries like England which have like been through World War II and survived, and you got countries like France which like bent over during World War II to survive.
Yeah, got it. That was the chat room game, kids. Thanks for playing. Come hang out with us. Play with us every week.
Yeah, it's
Keep
pretty good,
yourselves
guys.
busy.
Good one.
Keep yourselves busy.
Yeah. Well done on that one. That one we weren't sure how it was going to go.
Yeah.
Took a gamble, paid off.
It happens every now and then. Oh man,
We got a good crew of listeners.
we do. They listen so well.
Yeah.
Well, we got a
They
nice
usually-
little house today,
We do.
and
Did we do a roll
they
call?
stuck
Did
with
we?
us. No, we
No,
didn't.
we
We
didn't do a roll
should.
call.
We should
Let's,
do a
let's see
roll
who's
call.
in
who's there?
Who's there?
Want me to name 'em? We got baby.
Yes.
We got baby doll 87.
Oh, yeah, Sammy, Steffi. She's got too
How many
names.
names she got?
All the names. She's a vagabond.
Mrs. Palmer,
I was just thinking the same thing.
Mrs.
Mrs.
Palmer.
Palmer.
Lady Palmer.
Betty _ Livewire.
There you go.
We got Bauer Fett, soon to be in the Mandalorian, right?
Yep.
Agent Palmer's there doing what he does.
He's doing it all,
Probably
man.
wearing
Helping
a
out.
fucking apron, right?
You got Agent Palmer and you got Boss Palmer. That's stuff.
Bill's in there. Dom Torrey in the fucking his.
Hey.
He's a good man.
Yeah.
Hey.
I miss you, son of a bitch.
No.
James B. Ham
James behind him.
and Wesley Ryan Gaskins.
What's up, guys?
I wasn't finished. The third.
Oh, the third.
What's up, guys? Excuse me.
Fancy. Pinky's out.
Esquire
Esquire.
Junior.
Limited LLC. All right. So you know what? Well,
Huh?
let's jump right into the meanwhile.
Oh, meanwhile.
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 Meanwhile. I'll do it again. Fuck it.
Nice and loud this time.
Okay.
That's better.
Oh, did you hear them channels shifting in your eardrum?
I'm used to
Okay,
it.
we don't hear
It's
that.
all. It's like
You don't
second.
hear-
It's such. I don't hear it no more.
You got fucking tinnitus going.
It's true.
All right. I watched.
In school, you got your ears checked.
Oh
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. It's like, was it this one or
Remember
that
that?
one? Raising your hand
raising
and all
your
that
hand.
stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We should go do that one day.
Just see who's deaf out of the three of us.
Just to reminisce.
Dude, I know the doctor's office do that. I bring guys to it every month.
No, I think Jay is saying just stop at a school when they're doing it one day and be like,
Yeah.
it's our turn now. Who's this? Who's this kid? Did he go twice? Because I feel like it's my turn already, and I feel like I've seen this kid already.
You got to show up with a little book, like a copy of Dick and Jane.
Yeah.
Right? Your first reader, you know.
I live a block away from my old
Phonics
grammar
book.
school. It's the fucking building is small as shit now.
Oh, yeah. There's always that. You know, you go back in, anything that you thought was huge. Anything that you thought was amazingly huge it's all proportional.
It looked like fucking Camelot when I was going there.
Yeah,
I go there
yeah.
now, it looks like a fucking shoebox.
Yeah.
Fucking
I thought that my mom had this
Zips.
giant. I thought she had this giant sauce pot. Like you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
was huge.
It was big.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a 4-burner.
No.
Like
No.
right? But that's
No.
how I always thought of it.
No, it
Because
was.
I remember being a little guy and being in it,
Yeah, it
and
was.
you guys spinning me in the kitchen. in it,
Yes.
right? So
Wow,
in my
I remember
head,
that. I
so
remember-
in my head, right, it's spinning me around. I was loving it, like ah. Just,
Yeah, because it was old, and so it had use. So it was
Yeah.
a little like curved on the bottom from like all the time being heated up and all that. So it was a little wobbly, and it would actually spin.
Yeah. So I just, just to speak of how, like, as a little kid, these things that you swear were big, like physically big things, and then you run into them again, you're like, oh shit. I thought, in my head, I would have thought that was like some industrial-sized
Right.
kind of giant sauce pot for
Right.
like a restaurant or something. But no. It's just
Well, I
this-
think it's a case
it's
of
large,
as you
but-
grow, the memory grows with you.
Right, the legend kind of like in your mind's
so
perception.
because it was it was big. It was big enough for you to fit in when you were little.
Yeah.
So in your mind, it was still big enough for you to fit in. But now you're an adult, so it adjusts. You know.
Fair enough. I have taken us so far left for no particular reason. I'm just gonna remind people.
But that's meanwhile.
Meanwhile, Bill's.
I used to take my mom's fucking pasta pot.
Yeah.
Use it as a fucking army helmet. I yelled at that all the time.
This was Mom's sauce pot.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. I mean,
my mom would made 8 gallons of sauce and 4 pounds of meatballs and sausage.
Right. You have the macaroni pot too. You know what I mean? Boil water. And...
Yeah, you had you cook 3 pounds of pasta.
I think I brought up sauce pot on the wrong show.
That was my World War II helmet.
Sure.
Well, let's not start the sauce versus gravy debate.
It's gravy.
It's sauce.
Let's see, we're not. Anyway, I watched Bird Box on Netflix.
Bird Box.
I'll review it with you because I saw it. Though.
All right, you gonna hold my hand?
Well, looks like you were worried about time.
No. I was just felt like.
All right, go ahead. Bird Box.
Not about time.
I had a Bird Box.
That's disgusting.
It's terrible, right?
Sandra Bullock, Netflix.
Looking pretty as ever.
It's a quiet place for visually impaired.
So you're just watching like a black screen?
There's some moments where it's like you're seeing through the blindfold, like the cloth that she's using,
which I thought was cool.
Which was cool, which was a POV thing, so you got a sense of like just how blind you'd be,
right,
if you were wearing it all the time.
Right.
So the hook on this is that like, don't look at the creatures, don't look at the monsters, the evil, whatever it may be. That's how it kills you.
Right.
It kind of happens all at once across the globe, big fucking outbreaky type thing. And you're kind of going through 2 different periods back and forth. When the event happens and how the initial situation is with her and some people who end up caught up in a house together. And presently, when now it's 5 years later, and she has to go downriver in a small boat with 2 little kids. I don't know, 4 years old maybe.
4 or 5.
4 or 5-ish years old. And so it's a thing that builds up a lot of tension. There's only a couple of moments where I was like, all right, I understand that it's a lazy river,
right?
But there's a little convenience with that going so smooth for so long. But then again, like in my head, I was like, yeah, but if you did it the other way, there would be like constant issue.
If you did it the other way, it would have been predictable.
Yeah.
Which I kind of, I understand. I thought about that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's times where she's rowing and not rowing. Right. And like I've been on a river, and even if it's going that slow, there's so much drift that goes on. They're kind of conveniently ignoring that you would constantly be finding yourself snagged on the sides and spinning like just not out of control, but like
Well, like I said, she can kind of make out. Certainly,
generally,
you're not completely blind.
Yeah.
They can kind of see just to get a hint of where it's at.
Yeah.
It's still a little far-fetched, but
I was willing. Everything else was pretty good. I was fine with it. It really didn't get to a point where it bothered me really. When it really got down and gritty, though, they held true to how the river should behave, and I liked that. But yeah, look, overall pretty good. It's definitely worth the time. People are bugging out about it. It turns out it was like Netflix's like biggest watched thing in a while. So
well, it's the horror element again.
Yeah.
What I enjoy about something like this is the post-apocalyptic,
the breakdown
atmosphere.
Of society and. Yeah.
This is kind of like I almost felt the same way about this was kind of like A Quiet Place in Shyamalan's The Happening.
Okay, yeah.
In a way,
I can see that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only thing, like, because I felt like this is kind of one of the better Sandra Bullock movies in a long time.
Well, that's probably for sure. Yeah.
And the fact that she actually went out and did a hardcore horror movie, because it does get horrific, and there's some scenes where I couldn't believe they went there.
Yeah, there's a few moments.
So I was actually pleasantly surprised by that.
Yeah, me too.
The one thing that did bother me, which I can't really give away because it's a spoiler.
Okay.
But I kind of felt a little incomplete at the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I kind of wanted, like I'm fine with it the way it is.
Yeah.
And somebody actually said, "Listen, we need to make A Quiet Place again."
I feel like it was a script that was already kicking around, and it got hot because like it was
Right.
it was floating, and Netflix scooped that up, like, you know what I mean, from whether or not they produced that outright or picked that up already, kind of in
Right.
production, and like pulled it out of the theaters or whatever. I forget what the deal is,
But yeah, I did admire the structure of it, the way as the story went. You're not sure what's what,
Right,
who's
yes,
who,
right.
and I thought that there was a really good dance as far as going back and forth in time.
Right, the
to
two
this.
periods.
And when they went for it, they went for it.
Yeah,
They didn't
yeah.
really sugarcoat this at all.
Yeah.
So it's not the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
But I think that this is certainly one of the best movies she's done in a while.
Yeah.
This is worth the watch.
Yeah.
And it's on Netflix. Check it out.
Yeah.
But I think that there's other post-apocalyptic films. There's something I really want to say, but it's if I say it, I feel like I'm spoiling this. But
Well, maybe me and you will talk later.
yeah,
We'll get
we'll
that out.
talk about it. It has something to do with post-apocalyptic films in general.
Right. Okay.
And The Road was another film that it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah. That bleakness and that seriousness of it after it all happens, and you're there in the present with the kids,
Right.
and how stern
Yeah.
and forceful she is with the kids.
Right. I don't
That,
think
that's
it's
a
as
little.
good as
That might be a little stark for some people, but I think that's realistic as fuck.
that's a great fucking film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so check that out. And then I also want to point out, I don't know if you saw it, Jay, because you would probably be likely, but this movie called Molly.
No.
Molly. It came out last year. It was kind of like, it came out like New Zealand or some shit, maybe. It's a post-apocalyptic thing. It's not
Another one.
yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but I was surprisingly kind of captivated by it not doing like the typical stuff. So it's low budget and shit like that. It's got this really kind of rough and tumble, like Mad Max production quality kind of feel to it,
Okay.
where it's like, we've only got a couple of places we can film, and one of them is outside in sand, and the other one is inside a steel container. Like, you know what I mean? So we're gonna make the best of it. And but it does some cool things. Like it's following a young girl, and like, you know, like she does have like some powers, but they're not the main point of the story. Like she barely uses them to survive. You know, she's just trying to survive in this post-apocalyptic wasteland, and like, you know, there's these guys, all these bad guys who kind of like have this pit fight thing going on, but you know, it's an action thing, so most of the story is her trying to survive, and she's constantly fighting and killing guys. But she's not like super coordinated. She's not a looker, like, you know what I mean? So it's going all this under the radar kind of thing. And even though the action stuff can at times be like a little lumpy and clunky, they go for it with a lot of like long tracking shots and just like guy after guy after guy kind of thing, and her taking a beating because it's low budget. Like the actress herself takes a lot of fucking hits to the floor and shit, where I'm like, I don't even think this pad's down. Like this girl's gotta be breaking ribs and shit. But I don't know. It's not the greatest thing in the world. Like, you know, I'd probably give it like a B overall. But I had fun with it because it was like, oh, look at this thing that's like the gumption of the
it's
movie.
gritty.
Yeah, but just the fortuitous and the gumption of the movie, like, ah, man, we're fucking doing our best here. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, like, you know,
Right.
it was kind of one of these things.
Right, because they have a low budget, they're trying to use all the camera tricks and stuff to like build up the production.
Yeah.
Where did you watch it?
Online on a less than reputable source. So I don't know where it would pop up if people want to check it out, really. But it was new this year, so I think it's probably on services.
It sounds
by now.
familiar. I'm starting to, but I could be thinking about Mandy too. So
That's fair. That's fair. And I think there was and when I looked it up to try and get some background on it, there was another movie called Molly, like not that long ago. So it's easy maybe to get it confused with something else. But this has got like a redheaded girl who's got glasses. But it was good. I liked it a lot. Like, you know, at first it's a little like, oh man, like, can anybody act in this thing? But then, like, you kind of, like, everybody kind of, you know, because there's a lot of accents and it's a lot of, you know, unpolished actors. So it's like, you get used to it after like a little bit. You know how that goes sometimes with some movies that are like that. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah, I know.
At first, it's like, oh, what are we watching here? And then it's like, there's still rough and tumble, but you kind of start to forgive it and you don't notice it as much.
Right.
It's like a smell in the room. You know what I mean? At first, it's like, oh, somebody farted. Then it's like, all right, I don't smell it anymore. Then you leave the room and come back, and you're like, shit, that thing is still in here.
Kind of, huh?
Kind of, you know. So that's my recommendation for Molly. It's like a fart in a room.
All right.
That's a good thing, I think. So Bob had a little bit of aqua lad.
Yeah, a little Aqua guy. Mm-hmm. After last week's episode, I ended up seeing Aquaman.
Nice.
So we need filler. So you guys are getting a second review.
We're doing good on time now, actually.
Yeah.
But
But
what were your thoughts?
this is the most comic book movie we've gotten so far. I think it's the best DC movie overall.
Okay.
I think Jason Momoa does a good job. I think everybody does a really good job. I think Nicole Kidman looks like she's 22 in this movie.
Fair enough.
Even with the white hair.
Okay.
No, she looks great. And his favorite, what's her name?
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard. She looks great in this thing with the red hair and all that. I thought it was a really good movie. I thought it was it went a little over the top at times, but in a comic booky way.
Right.
So
right.
it was totally appropriate.
Sure.
And it wasn't corny over the top or anything. It was just like, this is a comic book movie. This is what you get, kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, like with the thing at the end where he's riding the monster at the end, and
He likes to ride stuff.
Yeah. I thought there was one slight flaw in the storytelling with his lineage and the fact that he somehow has the same ability as his stepfather had to speak to the fish. So, but it's a step relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I thought that was odd after all these millennia of nobody having this ability besides him. All this time's gone by. Whatever the time period is. I forget. It's actually not that long.
But it's a little convenient kind of a thing.
Right. It's a little convenient that, wow, suddenly nobody's had this, but now a stepson has it.
Right.
You know, or a stepchild in the lineage.
It's always the problem with, like, you know, the one kind of stories. But
right. But I mean, but you let that go and it's
Sure.
fine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, all right, you know, whatever. Because everything else kind of like is really good. And you don't want to bitch about something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
You know, it's a little thing in the storytelling thing. So, but I thought it was a very solid movie.
Right.
And probably the best DC movie so far.
Is it a catch and keep or is this a release?
Well,
That's a fishing term.
I've never been a DC guy, so for me, this isn't a movie I would stash.
Oh, okay.
For that reason, it's a cash. But
Yeah.
if you're a DC person,
Oh,
or if it's just comic books in general,
Sure, it just should be easy out.
This is a stash.
Nice. All right. Very nice, folks.
Did Ed like it? I'm sure he did.
Yeah. And Sarah actually
Didn't he call you like 30 seconds after he finished watching the movie?
something like that.
Well,
But,
that I buy too.
But
Did you see it? Did you see it?
Did you see it? Did you want to go? He actually wanted me to go with him a couple times. I had to shoot him down just because of schedule.
Yeah, he's
stuff.
probably seen it 27 times already.
Yeah, I think so.
He's committed to memory. Make sure
but
he dreams it.
If anybody wants to hear his thoughts on it, him and Sarah actually this week are doing a special episode because it's a light week for them too on the DC TV report.
Okay.
So let me squeeze the plug in here.
Okay, cool. They've actually gotten through all the back catalog that they're going to go through with the DC
DC what?
DC stuff, any DC stuff.
Well, I
Because
mean,
they were
the
they
main
were hitting-
shows. Well, the main shows have all taken a break, and so
Right.
this
So-
week it's like, oh, you know what we can do? We can do the Aquaman review, and just put that out
Just
for
put
a
out
week.
like a big special.
Yeah, like a special episode that gives us something in the feed for people.
Yeah,
and
it gives them a light work week too. So
Well, they
I'm
do
sure
that all the
have-
time, don't they? With every DC movie that comes out, they
Yeah,
do a
yeah.
review
For
of
most
it.
of them, they do a special. But this week, it just happened to work out where, like, because of the break in the seasons with TV shows. So check that out over there. Ed and Sarah break it down. And,
Yeah, they do a great little show over there.
And you know, you can check that out. Jay,
What's
Yeah.
next?
Blackkklansman. You got Blackkklansman in the.
Oh yeah.
I guess you forgot that you put it in there.
Well, I gave Bird Box a light cash.
Yeah, that's right.
just
We
so
spoke about that.
wrote that real quick. So I watched Blackkklansman. which was came out in the summertime.
Yeah. Spike Lee,
And,
it's a Spike Lee joint.
And this movie's getting a lot of award praise.
Yeah, sure.
And so I actually watched it on Blu-ray over the holidays, and I had a mixed feeling about it. I liked the movie overall,
Right.
but I guess it's Spike Lee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The thing is I've always had issues with his movies throughout his career, and there's movies of his that I actually love too. Like I think Malcolm X is a great film.
Sure.
I liked Jungle Fever when it came out.
Sure.
Summer of Sam, I thought that was really good. 25th Hour is another
Yeah.
one. I admire the art direction of it, the fact that it's the 70s. There's some great performances. The lead is great. John David Washington, I think his name is. He's a newcomer.
Yeah.
Adam Driver is really good in it too.
Right. Topher Grace.
Topher Grace is playing
David Duke.
as David Duke. So there's I just feel
Yeah.
like all the good stuff is the undercover stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then when it gets back to how it's all being plotted and coming together, it gets weak again.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
There's so much personality going on in the
I
other
you know what? I don't know.
sequences
It felt uneven to me. And
Okay.
I watched it, and I can't deny the artistry in it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's not a trash by any means.
Right.
But I don't think it's as great as people are saying.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I guess I was kind of,
Like it's good but not great. You know
it's
what I mean?
yeah, it's good but not great. It left me uneven. I want to watch it again to make sure, maybe there's something I'm missing, in here and there. But I won't deny the performances. I think everybody did a great
Right.
job. I laughed a lot in certain places, you know what I mean, which I thought were great. But I was surprised by Adam Driver, how really good he was. He did a nice job, and he's it's very interesting overall. But I don't think it's as great as people are saying.
All right.
So there's that, and I had a couple of. He said it's New Year's weekend.
Right.
I did this last year.
Yeah.
But if anybody is staying home and wants to just watch a couple of movies that deal with New Year's,
Yeah. New Year's related flicks.
I always tell people to watch Strange Days.
Strange Days is a classic.
Because it's funny because it deals with the 2K, the
Y2K bug. And it is a thing where I know what's funny about that movie? That is a movie where it's kind of fucked up to say, but when I was talking about things that should come, you think are gonna come true or whatever, kind of a thing with the future and all that. The whole idea of a famous rapper getting killed by cops,
Yes.
and it being caught on camera,
Right.
that was a thing to me. We're I think that. Yeah, I think that's gonna happen one day. I thought that even then. Now we're actually in an age where that is super possible.
Well,
you know what I mean? But just in classic in general, it's a great movie.
But when I saw it, came out 5 years before 2000.
Right.
So it's like the not too distant future.
Sure,
You know what I
sure,
mean?
sure.
And the whole thing was that technology.
Yeah, it's like these
Which is
headgear.
basically brainstorm technology.
Yeah.
So I felt like just the pacing of it reeks of Cameron's stuff,
Right.
Because it was his story. He did have a hand in the screenplay. Catherine Bigelow directed it. So,
it's
but
a good one.
I still watch it to this day, and even though it's supposed to be the year 2000, I think that as a film, as an action movie, as a sort of sci-fi, that I feel that it still holds.
Yeah, sure.
There's nothing really quite like it if
It's one
if
of
you
a
watch
kind
it.
kind of a thing. It
So that's my recommendation of a New Year's film.
Sure.
4 Rooms. We speak about this every
Okay.
now and again. Where if you're a big Tarantino fan,
Okay.
and there's one little thing that you may have not seen of his, and it's this thing called 4 Rooms, where it's 4 directors, and it's an anthology of what this bellhop does on New Year's Eve night.
Right.
And
right.
Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, Alexander Rockwell and Allison Anders were
Okay.
the 4 directors.
Oh, okay.
They were all in the hot independent directors at the time.
Right.
Tarantino's is the best, of course.
It's like the last one, right?
It's the last one. It's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, I run into people that have never seen it. They said, "Wait a minute, it's a Tarantino thing I haven't seen." I'm like, well, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a little bit.
You know.
Well, it's his. You know, he wrote and
If you're
directed
a person who kind of like digs on him that much, like, yeah, you know. It's
He
like,
basically took an Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's such a like an easy out transposition of a story, but
it's all his
It's good.
pop culture splooge on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And his sploogey dialogue.
So definitely check it out because
Yeah.
that is a New Year's movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? To watch. There's a lot of fun. Poseidon Adventure.
Right.
And a lot of people like to go to When Harry Met Sally, even though that's got a couple of New Year's Eve moments in it. It's not really a New Year's film.
True.
But if you're looking for horror, there's always New Year's Evil. That'll wrap that up.
New Year's evil, folks. Because you can never have enough.
4 Rooms I actually thought didn't get the respect it deserved at the
No, I
time.
think I don't know why that is either, but like
A lot of movies don't like that. Don't really do that well.
for some reason, like it's that it might suffer from that anthology,
Which I
the
never
curse-
fucking got. You
No,
know what I mean?
I get why, because it's just not what people are used to here in the States. As like, you know what I mean? It's like they just don't like latch onto it. It's like
Unless
you know,
it's horror, because
they go to-
horror does fares well.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
with
yeah.
anthology.
Generally, though, they want to go to the movie to see a story, not
Yeah.
a bunch of stories.
yeah.
You know.
Unless it's, like I said, unless it's Creep Show or something, because that was a hit for them.
Well, I mean, yeah, but even like I think that's the thing. Like when you start to get then into like a horror movie, the horror audience I think is more maybe
Yeah. but
used
that
to
was,
it or geared for it.
well, I'm thinking
There was also Stephen King.
Yeah.
well, I'm thinking maybe because if your audience, horror always does well for the most part.
Yeah.
So if an audience would say, "Oh, you know what? I'm getting 4 horror movies, basically." You know what I mean? I'm getting 4
sure. Oh, yeah,
horror
yeah,
stories.
yeah.
That could be like a
Yeah.
good kicker for it. Like I guess like maybe a comedy might be a hard, tough sell.
Yeah.
And Pulp Fiction just came out, maybe. You know
Yeah,
what
and
mean?
I think the thing too, for whatever reason, like there may not be enough like over the topness going on in 4 Rooms for it to get the word of mouth that it deserves. Because I think that's what helps a movie too. Like that movie doesn't even have like a it's got popularity, but it doesn't have like legendary cult status. Like True Romance has a better cult status,
Right.
Or a broader cult status than 4 Rooms does. But 4 Rooms is just as worthy of that. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
well, I guess because of that underground Tarantino verse that people love to attach themselves to, and
Right,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you're right; it's not as widely talked about as True Romance,
Right, and that's
or
why-
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I agree with you. I always wonder why, it doesn't get it. I don't know anymore. Fuck that shit. Males with an E. That's a gay joke. All right.
It's a good Tim Roth performance, though.
Yeah, no, the movie's fucking great, and one of the things I love about it is that,
He carries it. Yeah.
yeah, is that it doesn't it's on him, but it's not like really all about him. Like, you know what I mean? It's a straightforward, like a bunch of stories. We don't get a backstory on him like really deep or anything. We don't,
Yeah, because each
He,
story.
he drops into those rooms. Like
Right.
it's not like we follow him, quote unquote. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway,
I'm laughing at the time I was in the theater. That's all. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
as
ahead.
long as you had your pants on, I don't care about the story. then.
Well, they've been known to come off.
Well, that's why. That's why I mentioned it. I had a feeling.
Have a drink.
No. Our first email is from Benjamin, Benny Livewire. You may know him as.
Ben
Hey,
Kenobi.
Benny.
Ben Kenobi.
He wants to know about holidays. Which American public holiday would you most want to see swiped off the calendar? You must now replace this unwanted holiday with a new holiday tradition. And so he would love to know basic details on what
So
this
we're
new
replacing a holiday.
Yeah, with our own. He would love to know what the new holiday is and how we choose to celebrate it. Thanks, fellas. This is sent from his mobile phone.
Okay, well, let's see. Arbor Day's kind of blah.
Yeah, but that's...
That's trees. Plant the tree.
yeah, but isn't Arbor... I thought Arbor Day was military.
No, that's Labor Day. That's Veterans Day. That's Memorial Day. Now, Labor Day is for the average person. But Memorial Day and Veterans Day for veterans.
Yeah, I don't know which holiday to do away with. I mean, they already kind of squoze 2 presidents' birthdays into President's Day.
Right.
Because to give us an extra day off is just too much to ask for people who
Yeah,
just
it was
work
2
to the
weekends
fucking
back
bone.
to back, basically, so they didn't like that. And that was years ago, though. They did
I would say we don't get off enough days out of the work year that my position on this bit would be that I
people
don't
in other
want to.
countries would say we have too many.
Well, those countries also don't mind slave trade. But I mean, that's, yeah, whatever, to each his own. No, but I'm saying, you know what? I don't want to cut any holiday that I get a day off of work. I want more days. I want more
agree.
days off from work.
I agree. That's why I picked Arbor Day.
Right. I'm saying,
Right.
well, Arbor Day.
Because no one gets off a day to plant a tree.
But shouldn't we, though? Wouldn't more trees get planted?
Nah, because you know what they'd end up doing? They'd be like, all right, they do a business write-off, so you'd go outside of your job. The hole would already be dug. You take the little planting, drop it in there. Someone else would put a shovel of dirt on it.
Right.
While you're back on the elevator, going back upstairs, back to work.
It's better than nothing. It's an Arbor Day lunch break special. I'll
planted
do
a tree. We get the write-off for the tree, the dirt, and the 5 minutes of labor we lost.
That's fine. I mean, if that's what it takes.
And you get nothing.
If that's what it takes to get 1 tree planted.
But
Or 1 per fucking employee.
what other holidays are there that we
know.
could sacrifice?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's why I was trying to go with, like, maybe we say fuck taking away one and just add one and come up with our own holiday of, like, what's missing from our holidays.
I think if we're going to do that, we one up Canada by having a Boxing Day, but we make it a real Boxing Day where every
boxes up their stuff.
No, everyone takes a day and they got a box.
I want White Boy Day.
You want White Boy Day?
I want White Boy Day.
It's today White Boy Day?
It ain't White Boy Day.
It ain't fucking White Boy Day. But
And white boy ain't got.
I remember the only reason why I'm saying, because I could really, I have no thought on this really. The holidays don't bother me. I mean, I happen to like Christmas a lot.
Sure.
I actually like the holiday season. I like from Halloween to New Year's. I love that. I was never big. This is gonna sound odd, but I was never big on Easter Sunday.
okay.
And maybe this has something to do with it, because when you grow up in an Italian household, it's very religious and everything, and you gotta make sure you put on your best threads.
Sure.
And I didn't
It's
want
a
to
big day.
fucking do that.
Don't you got to eat fish?
Yeah, special meals and stuff.
Exactly. And the thing is, we always went like to my grandfather's house, and everybody's dressed, and everybody's watch what don't go out and
That's what I
play.
mean.
Don't
You
get
watch
your,
it.
you got your nice
Squidgy.
clothes on, stopping, get smacked in the head.
Yeah.
It was always like
Smacked in the head.
you always got to watch what you're doing.
There's a wooden spoon
It
coming
wasn't
at you.
fun.
And the only reward you got for the whole day was last year's dirty old chocolate bunny.
Maybe a cannoli.
No, I get it. It was just like at the time,
Yeah, fair enough.
and then
But that leaves an impression.
It leaves an impression of the
No,
moment.
no,
Then
it
you
leaves a
don't,
scar.
because I'm not religious at all. You know what I mean?
Right,
and then
right,
when
right,
you,
right.
but I mean, it's not a thing now. Now I just
Yeah.
Mama cooks the the macaroni, and if I feel like having a fillet of sole, maybe I'll have that.
You eat your shoe.
All right, maybe we focus on. We'll come back. We'll table which day do we take off the calendar. What kind of day would we want to put on the calendar?
Like I wouldn't want to take it off, but it's like the one I feel only because of the past and what I went through.
Well, that's
all
why I'm saying
yeah.
like there's a twofold to
All right,
this
what about
question.
Purge Day?
Was that?
Purge Day.
Oh, actually, it's just like a boxing,
just like the movie.
like the
Purge
movie.
Day.
Yeah, Bob's got some aggressive days. He knows America's heart. He's like, America wants some kind of release, like Boxing Day or Purge Day. But I like, what I was thinking about when you said Boxing Day? Like a day that, like, you get to call somebody out, like on some past shit, and like they gotta fight you. Like if you want, like that's the one day, like if you track down like your high school bully or somebody who fucking like did some fucked up thing and be like, you know what?
No.
I've been saving this up all year, buddy. Let's fight.
Dude,
You fucked my girlfriend.
I can go
or,
for
like,
I can go for beating up the fifth grade bully, the old fifth grade bully. But the first thing that came to my mind was, remember Vito? Mm-hmm. Vito, for some reason, I never hung out with this kid. I don't know how he even knew my fucking name most of the time because I was hanging on the other side of the island at the time.
Yeah.
So, but for some reason, I was the person that he picked to blame when he did something so stupid his father was going to kick his ass.
Okay, sure. So maybe that's a guy. Maybe that's the kind of guy you'd pull out of the old.
Yeah. Oh, I would kick the shit out of him.
On Boxing Day.
On Boxing Day, on Purge Day.
On Purge My Fucking History Day.
Bob's free therapy day.
It's very physical therapy.
I was gonna say
I'd
Star
be beating
Wars
up a lot
Day.
of people, bro, because I was epileptic as a kid, so I had a lot of people.
You got a long list for that day?
Yeah.
Every year you'll have somebody else?
I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say Star Wars Day, but we got that.
And we got that.
It was May the 4th, right?
So maybe there's another franchise. that
Alien
needs a
Day, we got that too.
They do kind of make a jag out of everything now.
426. It's 426.
Yeah.
You're on the verge of getting Star Wars week anytime you want to go down to Florida.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's true. It's true.
Imagine on May the 4th weekend you go down there.
You could, if you're quick and sneaky enough, you're gonna be able to bang a chick in the Millennium Falcon.
That'd be cool.
You know what I mean? Or get a handy on a fucking, on one of those rides or something.
That's what you put in Craigslist.
Right. I'm looking for anybody to give me a handy on the fucking Star Wars Express or whatever it's called.
Yeah, go to Plenty of Fish.
If anybody's into that, there's a video out. And I don't mean the hand job. I just mean they put out a little promotional video.
Quickie.
Yeah, they went.
For the
I was
park.
reading that today. I didn't think we were actually going to need it, but I guess we almost did.
We almost did.
Quickie Koala, remember him?
Sounds kind
Quickie Koala was
I'm sure
animated.
Is he related to Frankie Mogwai?
Well, yeah, not really.
not that Quickie Koala would admit to. This fucking guy. Yes, I remember Quickie Koala now that I look at it. Oh boy. I don't even know if that's his voice.
It is
But I
kind of.
kind of want to do that.
Yeah, he used to be.
I got my bow tie.
Is he related to your buddy Gritty?
Yeah, my new buddy Gritty. The Penguins. The
He'd
Flyers
disappear
mascot.
at will, piss you off.
Is that what it was? I don't know what the fuck. This is some fucking. I don't fucking knows.
Oh, this fucking guy.
This fucking guy. Quickie Koala. I'm just gonna do that voice now. But let's go to the next email. Thank you to our buddy Benjamin Kimber for that one.
Benny _.
Benny Wire of the Live type.
_
That too. And let's see if I have this set up right.
Thank you, Ben.
This next one's from James.
Not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah.
He swears he ad-libbed that line. That it's Farrah. He swears that he ad-libbed that it was Farrah.
I
Fawcett.
don't. Well, he was married to Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
in the line it was some other lady. It was some other celebrity, good looker. You know what I mean? And
Right, just because he was like a made-up character singing.
you know,
Or maybe.
there's a lot of that. So James sent us a big block of text.
Who?
James.
Oh, okay.
James Baham, but it shouldn't be too bad. He goes, all right. So I've been thinking and searching and still looking and hard trying to come up with that intro music. I know you said you got some filler for me, but you said we could also pick our own. If it's Yellow Falls, within that's
we didn't tell you could pick his own. We see if he made it.
right. We could pick our own if it's Yellow falls within that segment, but it's got to be the full cycle. It can't just be something going up. So I've been trying to remember because there used to be a really good intro music clips I would hear. And it was like the perfect for your thing, for time limits and everything.
Is that even English?
He's just totally. He might be talking this into the phone.
I think he's like on absinthe at this point.
Yeah, and it's one just big block of text, so I'm having trouble to read it straight through.
We got to get that someday. The real stuff.
What, absinthe?
Yeah.
Well, I had some at one point.
I mean, we can just drink some mineral spirits. You know what I mean? It sounds like a real drink. It's not paint thinner. It's mineral spirits, you know?
Spoke up, Johnny.
So yeah, so walk the line, maybe, or
No, he's got one. He's got Fall Guy now.
well, that's what I'm saying. So anyway, shit. This one place had good clips I like to hear, and it was like perfect for your thing, for the time limits and everything. And you know, where I first thought of that from baseball. Baseball, when the battery would walk the line from the dugout, he would up to the plate.
Dun, dun, dun.
I guess
da,
so.
da, da,
When it was his turn to.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
No, that's the only thing he's saying baseball.
Yeah, so.
Barry Bonds, wouldn't it be like, boo, fuck you, steroids? I don't know.
So yeah, he's definitely dictating this motherfucker. So he's like, I'm gonna read this verbatim. All right.
You don't have to, you know.
There's no periods in this.
So just read it, and he lives or dies by it.
And you know where I first thought of that? From baseball. Baseball, when the battery would walk from the dugout, that's capitalized, up to
Okay.
the plate, when it was his turn it back on the PA system at the local stadium. They have little song riffs they play, no crap. I don't think it's this last show to You're So Sports got mentioned one more time. That's all right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling while I'm driving home. True. Travis Board, you hadn't started to show yet, even though my phone says at 6. Oh yeah, you're getting the rambling, boring emails just to have some fun with you. And we just one more email to read tonight. Yeah, I saw that it was actually pretty decent. I enjoyed the movie that the teacher for Carnage at the end definitely looks like it could be good, but I'm not sure whether or not they're actually going to go full-blown Carnage with Carnage. I'm pretty sure that they try to hold back, because otherwise it would make us all a movie look like something Disney did that was fun, trying to explain to my wife who Carnage was at the end. For those wondering, my son's doing good. He's still in the NIC unit. Please don't forget to bathe occasionally, but you know, he wasn't supposed to be breathing on his own for another month.
Well, you know, some of the song that's on the radio while he's driving got into that email.
Is that what you're hearing, lyrics?
I'm hearing lyrics to songs in there, too.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, so...
Listening to fucking...
yeah.
I'm just trying to find the root of a point here, if he's got a question even.
He's listening to fucking Statler Brothers.
So there's the baby update. Yeah, I don't know. I'm doing all this voice to text. Oh, thanks for the reveal at the end. Could have used that up front. And I'm not going to bother reading it back, so I'm just going to press send when I get done talking, because I'm going to turn up here in a minute to enter the parking lot. Y'all have fun. I'm listening to you right now in the chat room. You know, fuck you, Jay.
What do you say to that?
Too funny. Nothing. I'll just play his music as
good.
natural. That's just, I got no topper for that.
That's it.
That's it.
Enough
Just
said
when I
there.
thought that was going to go nowhere. Oof. Brought it back at the end. Thanks for the email, James. Thanks for the 20-minute baby update. All right, next one.
He's going to be fine, Jay. James, excuse me.
Young Wesley Gaskins. Hey, you gentlemen. If you could...
Oh, wonderful.
Another one here. I'm sorry, buddy. If you could add in one scene and any movie, what scene would you choose?
Oh, I guess if you could act in one scene in any movie?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, because it's just AT. So, yeah, maybe it was supposed to be act. Act in one scene.
In any movie.
And what scene would you choose?
Well, after talking about Clue for the whole episode, I can't stop thinking about the Tim Curry running around explaining the 3 endings.
Right. When he does the whole running around bit, and then this happened over here, and then it was Colonel Mustard in here with this, and then follow me.
And that's not easy to do.
No. Well,
He had to
God
get it. He had to do it right 3 times.
Yeah, and thank God it's not like, something new where they would do it in one. Like, we're going to do a oneer. We're going to do a one take on this. So, instead there's edits, there's cuts, you know what I mean?
Well, I think
coming in and out of rooms, but still, he's doing emotion. He's doing a banter.
I would say that took like 3 days to fucking shoot.
Oh, probably.
Oh, yeah.
For him to run around and get that pacing.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Keep that rhythm.
But that's a good. That is good.
Yeah. Do that whole Tim Curry bit. That'd be funny.
I'm not shouting in the face.
I'm not shouting.
Right? Or would it be like something like the Who's Next bit?
Who's
With Ivan Costello?
Who's on first?
Who's on first?
Sure. One of those kind of classic comedy fucking bits.
Yeah.
What comes to you, Jay, for a movie? One scene. You could be in any one scene. What movie? What scene?
Well, as a thespian myself.
True.
Let me guess, the Terminator. I'll be back.
You know, I like when actors when it's something very outrageous and big and stuff like that. Like the Jimmy Hoffa thing. And whatnot. I sent you this monologue once before. I let you watch it. Was Peter Finch in Network.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Howard
sure.
Beale.
Yeah.
Like I would.
I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Like not even that. Even when like he's doing these outrageous, maniacal sermons on TV.
Right.
And it's all his politics and all his everything.
Right.
Like that is a showy kind of outrageous and powerful thing.
Cranston's doing that right now.
You got me thinking. You know, what you got me thinking of Miracle on Ice. Right.
Oh, the Kurt Russell movie.
The Kurt Russell scene.
Yeah, Miracle. Yeah.
Right.
Miracle on Ice sounds like a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, Miracle on
No, he's talking about Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. That scene in.
I'm crying already.
He's the coach and the Olympic hockey team.
Oh, that thing.
beat the
Okay, I
Russians.
haven't seen it, but it's legendary. Yeah,
It's legendary. You just got to watch it on
legendary
YouTube.
scene. Yeah.
It's a legendary scene. There's actually
We could do this, guys.
like 20,
Yeah, I'm sure.
20, 30 people on YouTube. They recite it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, great moments, a great opportunity.
Yeah. This is yours. Yeah. Or something like that. So anyway, so that stuff like that is those are the great scenes to take. You know.
Yeah, maybe like in Pulp Fiction, I wouldn't mind being the kid who's got to sit there and like while he's eating the cheeseburger. Like I forget who it is.
Frank Whaley.
Frank Whaley's part where he's like, "Oh, you mind if I have a bite of your cheeseburger?"
Brett.
And he's like, "Brett, yeah, Brett. Oh, look at the big brains on Brett. I'll be Brett. Or the guy who looks like Seinfeld that shoots at them. The other guy who comes in, he's like, ah! And does the gun, and it looks like Jerry Seinfeld for 3 seconds.
That's Patricia Arquette's brother.
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
That's like Larry Arquette. That's like the one.
Alexis Arquette. He became a woman, and then
right.
he died.
That's right. Yeah.
Forgive me, folks. I have to fix this fucking.
What about the guy from Seinfeld? He gets to go. You're a very bad man.
Yeah, I mean, I would take something in a Quentin Tarantino movie, I guess. Some rando little moment.
Take a seat at the table during the.
I'll be the extra guy at the Madonna speech.
Madonna speech.
Yeah.
The best thing.
I'm just sitting here eating my fries. I don't give a shit. Whatever.
I like the fact that the Mr. Blue, the older guy, he like knows Madonna stuff.
Yeah, right.
I like her early stuff, Borderline, Lucky Star.
Right, like
She got to that Papa Don't Preach.
Yeah,
like, how do you know?
like that actor had to be told who Madonna was when he got there.
But that's the beauty of it.
Oh, no,
I'm sure that's what Tarantino exactly had in mind.
Sure.
This guy bought Madonna's first album.
Because when you're that old, that's what you watch instead of porn.
Right. That's the thing that gets you off. Is like
you watch Madonna videos of her live concerts on the bed and all that stuff.
Look at her rolling around on the stage. Oh, it gives me a wooder.
Oh, big time.
Lucky Star, Borderline.
Lucky Star, Borderline. Her stuff.
A virgin.
Like, I never even thought about it. That's a good call, Jay. Like I never thought about it. Yeah, like the old crusty dude is the one who's like, oh, I'm the big fan, which just implies.
Plus he's dirty perv.
Yeah.
She went to that Papa Don't Preach phrase. I tuned out.
Well, she had those lace cut off fingerless gloves. Imagine getting a hand job from that. Some shit like that. Some cutscene we never saw. All right. That's it for the emails, kids. I mean,
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
James said I would take Antonio Banderas' place in the sex scene with Angelina Jolie in Original Sin.
Okay.
We had an off-mic discussion about Angelina Jolie before, and to tie it into what he just said, I would say if you're really into Angelina Jolie, what you want to do is you want to get you want to be Brad Pitt and Mr. and Mrs. Smith, because then he walked away with her in real life.
Right.
They were like, oh, how do you do? How do you do? Oh, let's fuck. And that pretty much was it.
But it's only on. It's only in a movie.
Look, whatever you got to do. You know what I mean? I'll be Brad Pitt for a day. I mean, I'll take the hit.
I'd be Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross. See, because I
You
think
are Alec Baldwin.
that is true.
Gary
Because I
Ross.
said I think I can do that.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's gonna do it.
That's it already.
Yeah, and to tie into my earliest opening line, James swears that someone pointed out today that this is the first New Year's without a doomsday prediction. I'm not sure how deep that goes, but that seems like an interesting.
Well, it's a very
point.
post-apocalyptic episode today. And I have something.
Actually, that was a lot earlier. He mentioned that. Anyway, yeah.
I'm going to predict that this year dies in 2 days.
This year dies in 2 days. You're right. It's coming. This year is sickly. It's on its last legs.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm gonna
Feels
wait
that
to
way.
the after show to give you my post-apocalyptic predictions.
Oh, there you go. That's something to look forward to. So, speaking of which,
I'm also gonna say a spoiler.
a spoiler
A spoiler alert
about the Easter Bunny.
about Bird Box.
What about Bird Barks? About Bird Barks? Well, I guess that's it. I guess that's it. Is what it's coming down to. And we're gonna have
Nothing
to
left
wrap
in
it
the
up.
tank?
Nothing left in the tank, and I am setting up, to take us out of here. Really. So,
We could do a movie about the Bird's Eye Company.
bird,
The vegetables.
birds.
Yeah.
Vegetable Wars.
Well, that's the packet you use when you got punched in the face. You had the swelling down on the fucking China.
Is that as deep as the movie's gonna go?
Yeah.
Well, we gotta work on that then. Then we gotta work on that.
Bird's Eye, the Vegetable
If an Italian is directing it, that's going in.
Yeah, you know what I say to that?
Are you people insane? I'm the director. I make the casting decisions around here.
I thought this was a group effort.
No.
You people are insane! You're wasting your life making shit! Nobody cares! These movies are terrible!
That's right.
All right. Sounds like a good goodbye.
Yeah, that'll kind of set us up to get out of here.
Post-apocalypse.
So,
yeah.
Bill, where you at?
I am on the webs. I ride them like a spider, a creepy
Oh.
little spider.
Like a spidery man?
Where are you on the webs?
I'm at Bob WTPC
Oh, I like
on
that.
the Twitters.
I like that. How about you, Jay?
Post-apocalypse.
I'm a post-apocalyptic Uncle Jay. Jay Apocalypse, they call me.
Uncle Jay's thing.
Uncle Jay's doom and gloom.
Uncle J Apocalypse.
It's the doom and gloom factory on Route 9.
Apocalypse.
A pair of lips. I don't know. I had nothing.
35 East in Sayreville.
In Union, New Jersey. All right. Sayreville. That's all I know. I just know towns. I don't know where they are. I could never get there. All right. So,
The post-apocalypse is going to happen. Fucking three of us are still going to be sitting here on the
Yeah.
fucking...
oh, that's going to be the worst thing to happen to you. Is that if it does come, you're going to be trapped on the island with us. We're all going to have to fucking either make a boat or steal one. You know what I mean?
I just picture us like in like the old days of Pompeii, where everyone's frozen, just sitting here like this.
Just frozen in position, microphones
position,
still in front of
like
us,
dust,
laptops.
giant piles of dust just sitting there, not moving.
Nice. That's good stuff. I think that's a positive way to go out.
Yeah, especially when I have something to say about the...
Yeah. If you like, right, we got more to come.
The
we got more to come.
The podpocalypse.
The Podpocalypse is coming at you, folks. In just a little bit if you're listening live, but if you're not, that's fine. Check us every Monday. If you want to hear the after show, we have that available at patreon.com. Just $1 a month. It'll get you all that shit. And then if you're not doing anything else, check out the DC TV report with Ed and Sarah. They have an Aquaman special coming your way. And that's it. Check out wickedtheory.com. Thanks to Agent Palmer. You can find him at agentpalmer.com. And as Agent Palmer on Twitter, he's a big helpful hand. We like him. We're going to keep him around. I think.
Undiscovered Palmer.
The Undiscovered Palmer. Coming soon to a theater near you, whether you like it or not. That's a script we could write.
Good music.
You like this?
Yeah.
The guy who did this, he's all right. He's
think so?
yeah, he's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right.
I heard he's been working on it for a while. Getting better.
Getting better every day.
Ensign Sturshik.
All right, that's it. We're out, skis.
Bye,
Admiral-
skis. Later,
Admiral-
skis.
Admiral Jason.
The Wicked Theory podcast is heard live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern until whenever. Just go to mixler.com/wicked-theory. Mixler is MIXLR. Sign up to join the chat. Then click the follow button to get reminders whenever the show goes live. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever good podcasts are given away for free, and at wickedtheory.com. You can support the show at patreon.com/wickedtheory. There you can get the after show if you miss it live. God forbid. Plus other exclusive episodes. As always, send your emails to podcast@wickedtheory.com.